The Virgin Islands has always been known for its beautiful beaches, incredible sunsets, and irresistible charm. Tourism draws millions of visitors, but its most famous export is an NBA champion.
Looking back, I really grew up in a very great location, a small community. You know a lot of people. A lot of people know you, and but it's a lot of fun because you have the beach atmosphere. You have you can go everywhere, and you kind of know people, and so it's very relaxed, very personal.
Timmy, nice to meet you. First time I see you for
Excuse me, Mr. Duncan, I could get your signature, please.
What's up, my man?
How old are you? You're 5? How old are you?
11.
I'm 27.
Fun and personal is just how Tim likes it when he pays a visit back home. It's exactly what you'd expect from a Crucian.
And a person who's born in St. Croix is called a Crucian. Okay, so that's what we are. Those of us who are born and live in St. Croix are referred to as Crucians.
Crucian. You gotta say it like that, Crucian.
A Crucian person is a person that has been taught to work hard, study hard, get in school and get your studies under your belt.
My parents were so into that, just making sure you work hard, make sure you concentrate so much on school and be the best at what you're doing. And knowing that even if you've reached a level, there's another level you can reach, so you got to push yourself even harder. I think that's something instilled in my sisters and I from young, and I think we've lived by that.
Even with his strong work ethic, few could have predicted that young Tim Duncan would someday make it to the NBA. Growing up, basketball was the last thing on his mind.
I always remember him as being a skinny little boy, always shivering when he came from the pool over there. Even though it would be 85 degrees, temperature, I would go to pick up my kids and he would be there skinny and shivering.
A lot of people used to look down on him because they just used to say he was tall and he never used to dunk as much.
This is where Tim lived. This is where he grew up as a child until he left to go to college.
He was into video games. I'd ride by his house and I'd try to, you want to go bike riding? But nah, he'd be inside playing like Nintendo 64 and stuff like that.
Tim and his sisters, they would go out in the pasture land and go and climb the guinea trees.
Like most kids in St. Croix, Tim loved the ocean, so at an early age, his mom signed him up for swimming lessons at the Country Day pool.
Timmy started out like a lot of our kids down here, probably at 5 or 6 years old, and he took to it, he enjoyed it. His sister was swimming at the same time, she's a little bit older than he was, and he took to it like a fish to water. This is a picture of our national team back, I believe, in 1988, and we just took a quick team picture. We're getting ready to go to a swim meet in Santo Domingo. And this is Timmy in the very, very corner. And this is his sister next to him. You can see Timmy, he's real shy, and he's kind of peeking over the girl in front of his shoulder.
To swim anywhere from 5,000 meters to 8,000 meters a day.
Driven by his sister's success, Tim continued to push himself, and his mom became his biggest fan.
My mom would go to work at night and come home and still take us to our swim meets and still be up all day cheering us on, and that's the kind of person I was around. I was brought up by, and when you're around that, you got no excuses to make.
Timmy's about 12 years old, and we're swimming in a swim meet in Mission Bay in Florida. And Timmy is a little bit bigger, even to the stateside kids. Well, Timmy came in and he just swam his heart out. That was Timmy's competitiveness back then. Well, Timmy gets out of the pool and we're all congratulating Timmy because he made the qualifying time. Next thing over the loudspeaker comes Tim Duncan, the Virgin Islands, just set a U.S. top 16 time for his age group. At that point in time, we felt we had something special.
But as the young pool shark was setting records, the winds of change began to blow toward St. Croix. In September of 1989, Hurricane Hugo, the worst hurricane to hit St. Croix in recorded history, changed everybody's life in Tim's home country. Not much escaped Hugo's path of destruction. One casualty meant everything to a certain young swimmer. The Country Day pool was destroyed.
Swimming became kind of difficult. We swam in the ocean for a while, but it just wasn't as much fun because I was a competition guy. I did the practice so I can get to competitions. And when there were no competitions, it kind of lost its effect for me.
Tim's swimming career came to an abrupt halt, so he turned his attention to another sport.
God blesses you in many different ways, and he sets you in a direction, and this was my direction.
It has been 11 years since Tim left St. Dunstan School. Time has passed, but the memories of his schoolboy days are as fresh as ever.
I got here in the higher grades, so we never had class down here. All my classes started up on this side. Oh, easy enough. Small classes, real small classes. I think that was a great thing, though. We only had 15, 20 people. In my senior class, we had 30.
Back then, no one could have imagined an NBA star was in their midst.
In the beginning, my son, they had to almost get after Tim to play basketball. He wasn't really interested. Right here, he would sit down and watch the television with those games, you know.
I started playing basketball here with my friends. It was 7th grade, right down there, and during breaks, we'd go up there and play. And this is where we used to run to every little second we got. Come up and play. They were never 10 feet, so they're still not. And one of them was always bent sideways because of everybody trying to dunk on them. Because they weren't 10 feet, so people would always try to dunk on them. Played all our high school games here. This was our home court. This was the jungle. So you came to play the jungle.
Where did people sit in the stands?
People didn't come to see us play. People didn't come. This wasn't a spectator game. We played. Whenever people came, they just sat on the hill, or we had the benches were along the side here. It's like the Boston Garden. It's just like dead spots everywhere. Magic Johnson. Everybody wanted to be Magic. I was one of them. I wanted to be a point guard, no matter what my size was.
My court in Peter's Rest, they always wanted me to bring him because he was so tall, and they used to make a lot of jokes after him, saying, he's so tall. So when he would come on my court, the guys would just want to play him and push him around just because he's tall.
And I was horrible. I was bad. I was uncoordinated and couldn't do much, but it was a fun game because I got to compete and I got to play with my friends.
Tim didn't let the teasing get to him. It only made him more